Okay, so today we're going to look at eggs and their effect on your health if you consume too much of them. And I am making this video because I saw this video by AthleanX, and he mentioned some study that says something like blood serum levels are not completely associated with um, like your consumption, basically, but it is. So he might point to like one or two studies that say something like there's not enough evidence, but just logically, we obviously know that whatever you eat, part of it ends up in your bloodstream eventually, and that's what it means by serum. So just obviously, um, you can eat too much of anything, like eggs, even water. You can drink too much water, and lose too many electrolytes, especially if you don't go to the restroom. And that's how someone died. So, um, yes, you can overconsume eggs because, especially since humans were not designed to eat eggs, um, like on a regular basis. If you believe in evolution, the chimpanzees and the similar like ancestors of us didn't usually eat eggs. They ate like mostly vegetables, fruits, like natural. Well, eggs are natural, but I mean, they didn't eat as much meat. They didn't eat any junk food. But to be fair, I know when I looked it up before that trans fats are actually worse for you than eggs, for like your health. So eggs may be high in cholesterol along with shrimp. They don't really ever talk about shrimp being high in cholesterol, by the way. And I looked it up, I was surprised. And now, let's say, um, by the way, you're only supposed to have, whatever it said, 300 milligrams of cholesterol a day, and an egg has more than half of that. So 2 eggs is already past the threshold. And I don't believe that's to say that, oh, if you eat 2 eggs in one day or more, that's bad. No, I think it's more talking about on a long-term basis. If you're eating on average more than 2 eggs a day, then you're gonna probably have too high of cholesterol. Um, Certain people, like bodybuilders, may not care about that if they have slightly clogged arteries, because they're just trying to build as much protein as possible. But I will say this, you can get protein in many different ways besides eggs. Like there's soybeans, spirulina, even though you can only have a little bit of that each day. Um, there's nuts, even though they have more calories and fat and whatnot. But if you're just trying to be really lean, soybeans are probably the best thing for you. If you look it up, it has like the most like protein. Well, protein powder, of course, too. Yeah, protein powder and soybeans are like the best. But protein powder has more calories and whatever fat and whatnot, sugar. So soybeans are probably probably the best natural thing for you for building muscle. Um, let's see. I would have a diverse diet in protein. Um, there's, by the way, there's lots of studies that show that it's not a myth that if you if you consume too much cholesterol, then it's bad for you. Um, just because some studies say it doesn't mean that that you can't overconsume eggs. You can overconsume anything. Okay, let's go to, no, it's not this one. It's this one. So this and one more other slide. And I should go to this first. So if you're a bodybuilder, by the way, your aim is not to be healthy. Your aim is to be a bodybuilder. So your aim is to build muscle and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger did. So if that means putting yourself at risk for injuries because you're lifting either too much weight, or you're not lifting the weight the right way, which I suppose you would say would happen if you're lifting too much weight, but also maybe not letting your muscles and body in general repair fully when you're trying to push yourself that hard. It says that it can be hard on the kidneys and liver. Yeah, especially if you don't drink enough water, because if you have a lot of protein, then it's going to make your kidneys work harder. So drink a lot of water. Okay, let's just skip all the other parts. Okay, that's the issue with too much cholesterol. So you end up having fatty deposits in your blood vessels. Eventually these deposits grow, making it difficult for enough blood to flow through your arteries. Sometimes those deposits can break suddenly and form a clot that causes a heart attack or stroke. And that's not just, fast food or oily foods, it's eggs too. There's not a lot of foods that I looked up that are like really high in cholesterol besides eggs and shrimp that are like natural. I didn't look up a ton of foods though, but I feel like those are the main ones you gotta watch out for. So, by the way, only the yolks, I believe, have cholesterol. The egg whites don't have cholesterol. So, if you want to really eat eggs, you can eat the egg whites, but the egg whites have a little bit less protein than the egg yolk. So, I don't know what you would do, though. What are you going to do? Cook it in such a way where you can remove the yolk and give it to a friend while you just eat all the egg whites? I don't know. Or you can probably just buy egg whites. But anyways, I don't know why this guy makes it seem like you need eggs so bad. He says he eats like 4 or 5 eggs a day. Like, okay, I don't think it's obviously not going to kill you, but it might affect your health. Like, yeah, like you'll have slightly more clogged arteries and you might live a little less long, that you don't notice. Like you live, I don't know, 6 months less long, or a year, yes, less long if you continually eat way too much eggs each day. I don't know. It's something it's really hard to compare. How are you going to compare it to the alternative? Because you would have to narrow down every single factor for why you say died at age 77 instead of age 78. Like, I'm not a doctor, but obviously from researching it, having too high of cholesterol levels are bad, and everyone kind of knows that that healthy blood leads to a healthy life. So eat the right things. Don't eat too much of anything. Trust the science. Don't just look for reasons to distrust the science just because you just want to keep up your egg eating habit of 4 to 5 eggs a day. And maybe that's what other bodybuilders do, and maybe that's normal in the bodybuilding community, but that's not necessarily the most healthy thing. Just like bodybuilders might use steroids, that may help them for bodybuilding, but it's not going to help them live longer. It's going to shorten their life, and it's going to be less healthy for them. So just because a bodybuilder tells you something doesn't mean it's true. Maybe to be fair, like like if they had like a more honest scientific opinion where it's like, I know eating too many eggs are bad for my health, but I'm going to do it anyways because I'm trying to build more muscle, then that's a reasonable argument, right? But he's not arguing it like that. He's arguing it like there's no drawbacks of eating a ton of eggs each day. Um, and he's wrong. Like, he's not a scientist. I'm not a scientist, but I did the research. Like, he's just pointing out the only studies that help his point of view, and he's not pointing out the 50 times more studies that show the exact opposite, and common sense too. Like, uh eggs, yeah, he's trying to make like a video just to like get reactions and stuff. I mean, I know he believes in this stuff too, but I mean, like, exaggerating everything to make a point.